Let's see who the Danes are. From the Encyclopaedia Britannica, we have Danaus, son of Belus, king of Egypt, and maybe Pharaoh of Egypt. Danaus had brother Egypt. His brother wanted to make 50 weddings with Danaus's daughters and his sons, but Danaus didn't want it to happen. Therefore, after weddings, Danaus ordered his daughters to kill their husbands. Only one did not obey. It was a Hypermeristo that saved the life of her husband Lynceus, who, according to legend, avenged. We look at Wikipedia. And there, Danaus was the king of Libya, who was considered all Africa in those times. We also see that he settled in Peloponnese in present-day Greece, and it is considered without reason that Argos was founded by him, but Argos existed before him. This is in Peloponnese, present-day southern Greece. The Argos or the Argivians were considered to be Danaids or Danans, who are considered to be the Greek troops in the Trojan War. We see about the Danaids, they are the heirs of Danaus. Again, in the Encyclopaedia Britannica, as well as the story of 50 daughters. We also see the Wikipedia, the same for the Danaids, but the daughters are punished in hell to pour water into a quart that has openings and cannot really be filled, but this is their punishment that they killed their spouses. We hardly need to look for, but if anyone wants Apollodor's books, we use the Book of Geography of Strabo. These are the title pages to make it clear which version we are looking at, and who is the editor. On page 741, we see in Latin the words Argos, Homer, which is Homer, Peloponnese, Greece, Greeks, Argives, Pelasgi, Thessaly, who is Thessaloniki, Danae, who are the Danaids, and some Greek names of localities, but the same Trojan War. Let's translate to find out. Argos is called by Homer both the city and the Peloponnesus, and also the whole of Greece when he calls all the Greeks Argives, but he uses the epithet in such a way that Achaeos Pelasgikon says Thessaly, Argos Ixon, and Achaic, Peloponnesus, Argos Peloponnese, Homer, Argos. The old name of the Peloponnesus then, the Peloponnesus was called Argos Achaicum. Coming from Pisatide and Tryphilia, the descendants of Amytbonitis and the Danaids were mixed, or all allies of the Trojan War. Apparently for Homer, Argos people, the Pelasgians, those from Thessaly, and even all Greeks are called interchangeably. Also Argos was the Achaic Peloponnese, of the Achaic people. So Pelasgians and Greeks are different people. And we'll see that later. On page 741, we see the name Danaus and the word rex, which is known to be a Latin word for king or ruler. We translate to the next screen to understand everything. Danaus built a citadel, whose tomb is in the Forum. Plinthus. The city was equipped with a multitude of wells, the discovery of which is said to be due to the daughters of Danaus. 4 of them are sacred. Danaus taught the digging of wells, being created king for that. On page 788, we see Danaus and 50 daughters. Also is mentioned Pelasgs and Peloponnesum. Let's translate it to understand. Danaus, Ava, father of 50 daughters, led a people from Egypt into the Peloponnesus, founded the Acropolis of Argos. He so ruled these places during his reign that the Pelasgians were called Danans by him. Because he had taught Argos to dig wells, he was created king. Also, we can see that the Danans mixed with Pelasgians from Pisati and Tryphilia. Let's look into another version, translation in English of the Geography of Strabo. The title on the screen, as you can see, is the Bohn's Classical Library Book. This is the volume 2. So we see the same translation, that Danaus inheritors mixed with people from Pisatis and Tryphilia. We see that Pisatis is an area in Greece along the Pene River. It is appropriate to note that Pene is very close to the word penna or foam. Apparently the water was foaming. As well as Pisatis is very close to writing in the absence of the letter. It also sees me about the Wikipedia Pisatis area. The same for the Pene River. And here's where the Pene River is in Peloponnese and Argos, in the middle of Greece. Apparently they were quickly mixed with the local population of the Danes. Using another book of the Geography of Strabo translated in English, just to make sure it is correctly translated. That is the one on the screen, Hamilton translation. So we can see that in the Hamilton Book of Strabo's Geography, we have the sentence that Danaus created a law to call all the Pelasgians Danaids or Danan, effectively assimilating the people. Now, let's see Wikipedia for the Achaeans, or as we see Danaids. Apparently, confusion happened in Wikipedia. The Achaeans are not Danaids. We also see other names of the Achaeans, who, as we have seen, are people before the Danes settle, and Danaus become their ruler. Here is the reason why Greeks call themselves Hellenes. This, then, is the account of the several parts of Thessaly. In general we say that it was formerly called Pyrrhaia. Pyrrha, the wife of Deucalion Hasmonia, from Haemon and Thetalia. From the Talalus, the son of Haemon. Deucalion obtained by lot the southern part, and called it Pandora, from His. Other that the other fell to the share of Haemon, from whom it was called Haemonia, that the name of one part was changed to Hellas, from Helen, the son of Deucalion. So, understand that there was Thessaly divided by several parts, and one was effectively called Hellas, and it is after the Helen, the son of Deucalion. From the page 50 we understand that there is controversy about names Hellas and Hellenes. So the people of Thessaly are called Myrmidones and Hellenes, and other Panhellenes on the Mede island Tassos. Also Hellenes was associated with Argos, to add more confusion. On page 134 we understand that the tomb of Helen is in Hellas, son of Deucalion and Pyrrha, which is in their marketplace. For according to historians, Deucalion was of Theotis, and of all King Thessaly. Page 67. Helen he rules the country Phthia between Penae and Asopus and betrays to his big son, while others from looking for everyone for themselves. Dorius, or Doris, settled the Dorians in Nassus and left them, and they bear his name. Aias, the son of Sutus, runs to Lagdamen, and the residents take his name Ahai. We also learn that the Ionians ruled Athens and are by that name of Ion, another son of Sutus. Idalis is the most ancient name of Achaia and was given to him because of the large number of cities on the shore. On the following page 68, we have that the Athenians sent a colony of Ionians to the Peloponnese, and the country they occupied, called Ionia, after their own name, instead of Aegeal. These Ionians were expelled from the Achaeans from there with the help of Heracles, the heirs of Heracles or Hercules. That is why the Peloponnese Dorians are considered the heirs of Heracles, but as we have seen, they are by that name because of Doris, heir to Deucalion. We see a map of Greece, and find the city of Argos, south of Corinth and northeast of Kalama. We also see Macedonia, that does not include today's Republic of Northern Macedonia, and Epirus. We see that it is white with Peloponnese, Athens, Thebes, and Euboea Island, and they are the Danes. That is why Argos is called the Danes. This is where Greece grows to the north. Now let's understand why they are called Greeks. Aristotle confirms that the most ancient area, called Hellas, was close to Dodona and the Ahaloi River. Description that would be incomprehensible since the river did not flow close to a grandfather if it had not been specified by the remark that the river often changed its flow in the past. He also states that the flood of Deucalion happened mainly in this area. It was early days inhabited by Salian people, then called Greeks, and now Hellenes. The villages called by Pindar Heli are mentioned in the Iliad as employees of the Dodonian Zeus, men who slept on the ground and never washed their feet, and Hesiod in one of the lost poems, Eoi speaks of the fertile land and the rich pastures, called Holopia. We do not know on what grounds this claim Aristotle made, but the general opinion of the Greeks was different, connecting the Deucalion, the Hellenes and the Hellenes, mostly and especially, with the territory called Ahai Phthia, between the mountain J and Otita. We can neither confirm nor deny his claim that people in the vicinity of Dodon were called Greeks before being called Hellenes. This is where the Ahai Phaeotia is. But it is a fact that the Romans knew the Greeks, not Hellenes and Helen. This is where the Hella and the Hellenic or Deer from Dodon to the south, and it can be seen that in the middle the village of Selli where they were called Greeks. Here is a place to insert that this name is very suspicious, since we already know that the Thracian language is a very old Bulgarian language. We can assume that the Pelasgians who inhabited the whole region have spoken a similar language, and that means that the name Selli is from the word village. That is completely logical. After it was Aristotle, to see the Wikipedia page for him. He is an ancient Greek philosopher and scientist, one of the greatest geniuses of antiquity, and is called the father of science. A student of Plato and Alexander the great teacher. Aristotle is among the few personalities in history who have explored almost every topic available for their era. Science. He studies anatomy, astronomy, geography, geology, zoology, meteorology, and physics. This is his book. The title page is not very artistic, but let's not forget that he is a scientist. We see physics, metaphysics, and many things. And here's an interesting fact about hair types, namely, straight and curly. A sign of this is the fact that curly hair is harder than the rights because the dry is firm. In animals with many moisture is straight hair because in these hair, moisture moves like a jet, not drops. For this reason, the Scythians on the Black Sea and the Thracians have straight hair, because both they and the air around them are moist, while the Ethiopians and the men in the hot countries have curly hair, because they and the air around them are dry. This will serve us. And of course, as Gru showed us in his book on the history of Greece, here Aristotle wrote the same about Gracits, and for Selly as well as for the ancient Hell, where Deir, or Helen, should come from. He also writes about the flood of Deucalion. Here's the chapter A Statue of a Nubian. We see curls. Thanks to the color in black, we see Hermes with curls. The Danes have done it, and black Heracles or Hercules. They are all. The British Museum we also have white and black people, black centaur and Greek, and here is an Ashurbanipal of Mesopotamia. He was black with the help of Aristotle we know. Iliad in English. The Achaeans and Argives are Greeks and Danes. Same in another Iliad of Wolf. Interesting flag. Another interesting flag. And another one. Distribution of Jenna, J130. And on the close we will see that the Greeks are mixed. It is also available in Greece, Turkey, Egypt, Ethiopia. Share and like, subscribe.